Hello everybody and welcome to Haus. I'm Rob, and today we're going to be talking about the third DLC. That's right, we're not talking about, the one that just came out. We're not talking about Right to Rule, the second one that should be coming out sometime later this year. I'm talking about the third one, which I'm hopeful will be coming out even later this year, maybe near the end or early January. And the reason for this is because I believe that that third DLC may end up being the most important DLC that we are going to get. I'm going to explain why here in just a second, but before we dive in, I'm going to ask that you guys like and subscribe if you are new here. If you feel like this video is informative, or if you feel like it's enjoyable in any way, shape, or form, a like is always helpful and appreciated, and subscribing so you don't miss out on any of the great Civilization content we have coming out nearly every single day. But let's kind of hop in here. Obviously, we have the Crossroads of the World DLC that has come out, and it really didn't bring a whole lot new. It feels like they're mostly using these DLCs, at least initially, as ways to kind of get in all these new wonders, some new leaders, some new, civilizations, right? And I think that that's okay. We already know what's going to be happening in Right to Rule. Spoiler alert for those of you who may not know, we have covered this during some leaks, a couple weeks ago, really when, the Crossroads of the World DLC was coming out. But we are getting Genghis Khan, we're getting Lakshmibai, I think is how you pronounce their name. We're also getting Assyria, Daiviet, Qajar, and Silla. And then 4 unknown world wonders that we don't know about yet. So, it feels like so far these 2 DLC have come with just these new things for these new leaders, for these new civs, and the wonders. And I think that that's great. These are things that we need. We have had, obviously, DLC, like that in the past. And I think that that has been an important part of the way that Civilization games have been made recently. But there have also been ones that have been really big DLC, right? That have allowed it for the game to fundamentally change, I think in a really big way, where it's added religion or the World Congress or all these other major aspects to the game. And, right now they are working on trying to fix the game and allowing it for us to be felt like we're being heard, and they're changing it based on what we're saying. But I think that this third DLC is going to be probably the most important one, mostly because of the fact that I think it needs to be game changing, right? They're moving back Right to Rule so that they can continue to focus on fixing the game and putting it into a good state that players like us are enjoying on a more regular basis. And I think that obviously these first 2 DLC were already planned. They included it in the, deluxe edition or whatever they called it. I was one of the people that bought it. I've got both DLC already, along with the game itself. And so, I think that these ones were already planned out. They knew exactly what was going to go into it. They've already been working on it. And I'm sure that they've already started working on this third DLC as well. But we already knew that Right to Rule was going to come out sometime between April and September. I imagine that they were looking at like May, maybe early June, and then, we were going to find out what the rest of the roadmap was going to look like after that. Things have dramatically changed, and I think with this third DLC, they have had time to hear our feedback, hear what we are wanting to be added to the game. And I think that this third DLC needs to address some of those things in a really big way. I want to see them, going after legacy paths. I think, that's been a very popular topic of discussion I've seen on Reddit lately. I know that we have discussed it plenty here at the Game House, at Civ House. We are a part of the Game House, but at Civ House. And we're going to continue to kind of go through each of the legacy paths, talk about what we like, don't like with those as well. So that will be coming out on this channel here over the next few weeks, after we do some coverage, obviously, for this big patch that's coming up. And I know that they're mixing up, patches and DLC, and it's all different things, but they have had time to hear our feedback. They have a chance to change legacy paths, to add new ones, to, maybe add diplomatic, to add religion, and allow it to be a more substantial, I don't know. Yeah, I think substantial is actually the perfect word for this with DLC. Right now, I don't love that each of these leaders and civs, like, we're paying $30 for this, and it's like, you know, we're getting what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 new either civs or leaders, and a couple of world wonders, and it's like that's solid. I would probably be more comfortable paying like 15 or $20 for those, but if I'm gonna, you know, pay $30 to $50 in the future, especially for this game, it's truly going to be like a live service game at this point. You know, it's kind of what a lot of these strategy games are becoming. I'm going to want there to be a more substantial amount within this DLC. I don't know if it's that maybe I want more than 2 leaders to be added. I know that they're very different now, right? Or maybe even more civs. But I feel like something needs to be dramatically different with this third DLC. I want to see it be more than just a couple of leaders and some civs and some wonders. I want to see it be something that's going to fundamentally change the game. You know, we already have weather, you know, we have all these other things that they've done in the past. I want to see them either bring something back that a lot of us have liked and have been asking for, or I want to see them even go further and add something new. I don't really know exactly what that's going to be yet. A lot of us are anticipating that maybe there's going to be a 4th age, right? So maybe this third DLC will be the time where they add the 4th age. Maybe it'll be Right to Rule. I don't really know. But, you know, we should be able to go past 1945. And I believe that, you know, beyond the modern age, whatever they're going to end up calling it, I think I've seen some people calling it the nuclear age, right? I think that that's going to happen for sure. I still am personally a proponent of they need to bring in the medieval age, and I think that if they had 5 ages, the game would be in a really good space. And then, you know, I guess maybe that's what I want, is that when they bring in this new age, that will be a really substantive DLC that will have a bunch of new leaders, a bunch of civs, because you got to kind of fill out, you know, that new age, and maybe that will be what they will do with the game. So I don't know. I really just felt, you know, kind of this desire to talk about this third DLC. I really feel like it is going to be arguably the most important one for this game, for it to really kind of catch on. I don't love that it's going to be near the end of the year. I think they're going to make plenty of changes before that, but I think for them to kind of bring in new players, a lot of time with these games, you have to bring in new content that people are interested in, that's going to, you know, pique their desire to want to play the game. So let me know if you think I'm just completely wrong in the comments section below. Always willing to hear you guys out, and really appreciate this community. It's been awesome seeing all your comments. We try to get to as many of them as we can, and I hope that you guys will continue to do so. But that'll wrap it up for us on this one. So from our house to yours, thanks for watching, and we hope you'll join us for one more turn.